Crystals! What are crystals? A rock formed when a substance hardens, causing molecules to form repetitive patterns. They are many different things. For example, they are gemstones like diamonds, emeralds, and rubies. They are also salt, sugar, snowflakes, minerals, and some of the rocks that form the Earth's surface. Crystals are used in many things. They are used in computers, watches, radios, and jewellery. Crystals are also used to help heal sick and injured people. I went around school and asked, how do crystals form?
They're little things that go together, and they're made by solids.
Crystals form by being compacted into the ground so hard for 14 years.
For a very long time, and carbon is left in a very high pressure area, all of the atoms are pushed together to form a crystal.
My explanation. Atoms link up with other atoms and they make molecules. The molecules form repeating patterns in shapes like squares and triangles as they link. The patterns force the crystals to take certain shapes. Crystals grow even though they are not alive. During crystallization, a crystal starts out microscopic tiny. Over time, as more particles link up, the crystal becomes larger, but the growing doesn't stop once a crystal becomes visible. Crystals can keep growing as long as the conditions are right. The right conditions vary from one crystal to another. Some crystals need extreme pressure, others need heat, cold or light. And the most important ingredient, all crystals need a continuous supply of fresh molecules to stick to in order to keep growing. My experiments. Overnight crystal garden. Materials: 1 cup of Epsom salt, 1 cup of hot water, large jar, fork, fridge, freezer, food colouring. Steps: 1. Pour the Epsom salt into a jar. 2. Get 1 cup of very hot tap water or heat water in a microwave for 45 seconds. Then add a drop of food colouring to the water. 3. Carefully pour the water into the jar with the salt. 4. Mix the salt and water together with a fork for 2 minutes so all the salt can dissolve. 5. Put the lid on and place the jar in the freezer for 10 minutes. 6. After the 10 minutes is up, move the jar to a fridge for overnight or longer. The longer you leave it, the bigger and stronger the crystals will look. 7. After it has been in the fridge, remove it and pour the excess water out. Results: after leaving it in the fridge for 3 days, big and hard-looking crystals formed up the sides, while on the bottom of the jar, a layer of needle-like crystals formed. Fuzzy rock. Materials: dolomite rock, deep container, vinegar, tweezers. Steps: 1. Put a small dolomite rock into a deep container. 2. Pour vinegar in the container up to about halfway up the rock. 3. Leave it in a safe place for a few weeks. Small white crystals will form on the rock and the container. Remember to leave the rock in the container until all the vinegar has dissolved. 4. Use the tweezers to pick the rock out of the container so you could admire your crystals. 5. Put the crystal rock back into the container or into a jar and leave it in a safe place so no one will touch it. Results: small white fragile crystals formed on the rock and container. Also some crystals grew on top of one another. All made by Tamara.